Hello, third, fourth, and fifth graders. I am back with another guidance lesson. Today's guidance lesson is on identity, and I'm really excited to talk to you guys about this because it's about exploring who you are, and you guys should be really proud of who you are and where you've come from. And a lot of what we're talking about in the world has to do with identity and being proud of who you are. So I'm excited to talk to y'all about it. So your identity, these are our objectives that we're going to do today. So this is what we're going to focus on. You know and like who you are and can talk about it with your family and yourself and describe your various group identities. You know that your group identities are part of who you are, but none of them fully describes you, and that's true for others too. And you can feel good about your identity without making someone else feel badly about who they are. Okay, so what is identity and what does identity mean? So I'm going to let you guys talk for a little bit, like about maybe 10 seconds to your neighbor about what identity is. What do you think it is? Okay, come back to me in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So identity is about the way that we look, the way we think, and the things we do. And there's lots of different pieces to someone's identity, and some of them we can just see by looking at someone or meeting them, and some are not so obvious or visible. So identity is the way we look, the way we think, and the things we do. So it's like what people see and what people don't see, okay? So part of what our identity is what we're born with, what comes from our family or our community, and what we choose to be. So for example, I'll tell you a little bit about me. So I was born with epilepsy. So that is that's like when you have seizures. And I was also born with an autoimmune disease that I have too. And that's just a part of my identity, and that's totally okay. I own that, right? I own that that's a part of who I am. And I was born with blonde hair and blue-green eyes. And my family and my community, my family, I'm mostly German on my mom and my dad's side. And my grandfather's first language was German. So I have done German traditions and I can speak a little bit of German. And it's all about also who I choose to be. And I choose to be someone who's kind. I choose to be someone who's caring. I love fashion. That's something that I choose to do in my life. And I like to read too. But there's also another component to our identity. So our identity is also can be like icebergs. So look at this picture. Let's look at what we notice. We notice that a little bit is above the water and a little bit of it is below. And what parts of our identities can people easily see or notice? What do you guys think? Let's look and see. So the parts that people can see is our appearance, our name, our race, our personality, and see how language is a little bit below the surface. So my personality is like outgoing. I love to say hi to people. I'm friendly. My appearance, I have blonde hair. I have light skin. And my name is Meg Grant. My race, I look and I am Caucasian and white, but that's not all there is to me, and we'll talk about that too. And then language, I bet you guys don't know, but I can speak a little bit of German because my grandfather's first language was German. So there you go. And that's why that's a little bit below the surface, right? So let's see what else might be below the surface. I'm wondering what else is not so obvious to others. Okay, so we're going to see. So look. Culture, religion, and values are some of the things that are below the surface. So in my family, we do a lot of cultural things related to Germany. And I bet you guys may not have known that. And then my religion is Christianity. And I'm friends with people that have different religions from me as well. And my values, I care a lot about honesty, integrity. I value quality time with my family, all of that good stuff. But I'll tell you a little bit about my husband too. So my husband has a different personality from me. He's a little bit more introverted and kind of keeps to himself a little bit, not as outgoing. His appearance, he's tall. He's like 6'1", dark skin, like olive skin, brown eyes, brown hair. His name is Justin, but he's Serbian. He's a different race from me. So it's really interesting, right? Like he does like identify being Caucasian and white, but he's also Serbian too. And he can actually speak Spanish, which you guys may not know and a lot of people wouldn't know. But he values the same things as me: quality time, honesty, integrity. And he's actually shared a lot from his Serbian culture with me. He grew up with a Serbian grandfather who taught him a lot of traditions and everything. And we're the same religion as well. Okay, so our identities are not good or bad, and they're not better or worse, right, guys? So another thing that might tell us about identities is names. So our names are a huge part of our identity, and we don't choose our names, but one or both of our parents do, and they pick our names for a reason. Maybe it has a special meaning, or it's the same name as another family member, or maybe it just sounded beautiful or strong. So an example is the name Nevaeh. It has a special meaning. It could be after someone. It sounds beautiful, strong, and powerful and kind, and it's heaven spelled backwards. We actually have a Nevaeh in 3rd grade, and I'll tell you a little bit about my name. So my name is Mae Marie, M-A-E, and then my middle name is Marie, M-A-R-I-E. My aunt Bev is the only person that calls me that. She just calls me Mae Marie, which is kind of funny. But the reason my name is May is because my dad's mom passed away when he was 17, and she had a heart attack, and her name was Lillian May, and they really wanted to name someone after her. So I got named after her middle name, and my mom had already coincidentally loved the name May. And then my middle name is Marie because my grandmother had a sister that was born before her, and she actually passed away as a baby, and her name was Marie. And my grandma's name is Mildred, but her name was Marie, so they wanted to name me Mae Marie because after her sister that passed away. So yeah, my name has lots of meaning. Here's another name, Frida. That could actually be named after the famous Mexican artist Frida Kahlo, right? And then here's another one, Benjamin. That could be named because it's her grandfather's name. It's really cool. So there's lots of reasons why you probably have the name that you have. And then gender, you could be a girl or a woman, a boy or a man, or identify as either. But remember, we accept what people's identity is. It's about how they see themselves, not about how we see themselves, right? And then religion. So where do you worship? What beliefs, what ideas do you have? So that's also an important part of your identity. And then language. The languages we speak are also a part of our identity. Some of us might be monolingual and speak just one language, or they could be bilingual and speak 2 languages, or multilingual and speak many. So my husband can speak Spanish. I can speak German. I can also say hello in French, hello in Czech. And so I could say a Guten Tag, that's German. I can say a couple of other things in German. I'll teach all this thing. This is Ein, zwei, drei, and the Kakerlake shine. That means 1, 2, 3, the cat ran up the tree. My grandpa had that as a nursery rhyme when he was little. Bonjour is French, obviously, for hello. And Czech, you say ahoy to say hello. I'm part Czechoslovakian, so that's really fun for us to be able to do that. And there you go. So I'm wondering what other language that you speak. And now we're going to go on to the next slide. So here's appearance. So sometimes appearances or how we look might be a part of our identity. This includes hairstyles, piercings, clothing choices, or other parts of our appearance we don't have as much or any control over, like our body shape, skin color, or physical abilities and disabilities. So for hairstyles, obviously you can tell that I have blonde hair and my natural color is dark blonde. Piercing, some people choose. I have a friend who has like a nose ring. That's what she chooses for her body. Clothing, my clothing style is bohemian and girly. I like to wear things that are fun colors. And then body shapes, skin colors, physical abilities, and disabilities. And so I think it's really cool when someone is different. I just think that that's really awesome. It makes the world a better place. Okay. So, and also strengths. This is really important too. So their strengths are things that we're good at, things we're not so good at, academic, athletic, artistic, and musical strengths. All really, really cool stuff. One of the things that I am pretty good at is music. I think I've talked about this before, but I actually have sung the national anthem for college and professional sports. I used to do that, and I have sung at several weddings. I love to sing. I just have so much fun doing it. And academic, I love to work really hard at academics, but some things I'm not so good at. Organization. I wish I was more organized. I am at school, but at home, that's another story. So yeah, but they say creative people are not the most organized, so I'll take it. It's okay. So yeah, let's look at the next one. Okay. So culture, language, food, music, traditions, values, and beliefs. So me and my husband have a combined Serbian and German culture. And one of the traditions that my family does every Christmas Eve, we have a German tradition where at midnight we cook sausage, German sausage, and we put it in on a piece of bread, either with butter or mustard. I know it sounds kind of weird, but that's what we do. That's one of our German traditions. And my husband actually was really close with his grandfather, and he went to a Serbian church with him growing up. So really, really cool, different things about us, right? Okay, and then another part of your identity would be your race, ethnicity, and nationality. Where you were born, where your ancestors were born, and how you identify. So this is really important. So we just talked about culture, and it can include the language you speak, the foods you eat, the music you listen to. For example, some cultures hold special 15th birthday parties called quinceañeras, and some families spending time together as family is valued or considered more important than spending time with friends. So now for race, ethnicity, and nationality, we mentioned skin color before as a piece of someone's identity. Someone's race or ethnicity or nationality can also be a part of identity. If you or your parents or grandparents or great-grandparents were born in another country, that might be a part of your identity, like Egyptian American, and someone being Black or white or Hispanic or biracial might be a part of their identity. One of the most important parts about racial and ethnic identity is that you get to decide how you identify. There isn't a rule you have to follow, and other people don't get to decide for you. So my racial and ethnic and identity is actually a combination of things. So I did 23andMe to find out more about where I come from, but I was born in Brenham, Texas, which is about 2 hours away from here or less, like an hour and a half maybe. And my entire family is German. So on my mom's side of the family, they're all German. And like I've told you before, their first language was German. And my great grandparents did come over here from Germany. So I super identify with that. Like I said before, my husband's family came over from Serbia. And so I have a lot. And also I think I mentioned before that my father's, and you would probably be able to tell by looking at my dad too, but my father's great grandmother was a Native American. So I also identify as a Native American as well. So some people think it's wrong to talk about race and ethnicity, but I don't think so. I think it's an important part of who we are, and talking about people's race is only a problem when we do it in a negative way. And we'll talk more about that on a different day. Okay? So now we're going to talk about personality. Thoughtful, opinionated, outgoing, carefree, and studious. So I'm wondering how you guys would describe your personality. Some of you, I know a lot of you, probably most of you, and I think we have a lot of really smart, kind, and caring 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders on campus. And we have a lot of kids that are funny. I actually have a a fifth grade boys group. You guys know who you are. And I see them and they're funny and they're fun and they're smart and they're caring, and I enjoy seeing them so much. I see lots of kiddos that are in all different grade levels, and I think every single one is so amazing. So I love all of y'all's personalities. And so there's also, I see another fourth grade girl who's super creative, and I love seeing her, and we get to make things together, and it's so fun. So now we're going to think of a character from a TV show or movie or book that you know a lot about, and what 3 parts of their identity. So I'm just going to think of something. I'm going to think of SpongeBob. So SpongeBob is from the sea. He is square. That's his appearance, and he's yellow, and he's a boy, and he's funny, and his name is SpongeBob, and I think he's great. So those are 3 parts of his identity, right? And his personality. He's a little bit nervous sometimes. I would say that's part of his personality too. So I'm going to let you think of someone from a TV show that you enjoy. I know that some of you guys in 5th grade watch Recess. Some of y'all in 3rd grade watch Arthur or the Wild Kratts, and PBS Kids. So there's a lot of characters you can think of. So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to think about that and talk about that. Okay, come back to me in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Okay, so now this is a really important part. I want to give you a challenge. So someone might be known as the funny kid or the girl with a leg brace. Okay? And guys, you know, we're all human. There's always things that we're like, we've been made fun of. Like I've been made fun of before. You may have been made fun of before. But it's when people make fun of us, they're missing a huge part of our identity, right? And so this is actually someone, we can actually see someone as more than just a label we put on them, right? So the funny kid might be vegetarian, Cuban American, and great at math. And the girl with a leg brace might be speak Portuguese, Catholic, and an artist. Sometimes I'm just known as like a fun, kind person. Like that's all that people see me as, but there's so much more to me, and there's so much more to you. So there's so much to each of us, and we're all the pieces of our identity together. And some pieces people can see or notice right away, and some are more private or personal. And so if somebody doesn't want to talk about part of their identity with you, that's their choice, right? But it's really important not to label people at all. Okay, so I want you to think about and write about your own identity. So after this lesson, if you want, you can get out a sheet of paper if your teacher wants you to do that. And what are some of your characteristics, like religion, race, ethnicity, and nationality, name, gender, language, appearance, strengths, culture, personality? What are things that you love about yourself? And you could draw something like this. I'm also going to share this with your teachers if they want to share it with you. What are things about your identity that people can see? What are things that about your identity that people can't see? They're more personal or hidden. What are 2 parts of your identity that are especially important to you? What's one thing you want people to know about your identity and who you are? And then you can write, I am proud of who I am because what? What's something that surprised you when you were exploring your identity? What's one of the most important parts of your identity? Oh, also, y'all, I know I've talked about this before, but I'm just going to say it again. I really see this as a huge part of my identity. My great uncle started Blue Ball Ice Cream, and so I love ice cream, and so I see that as part of my identity too. So what's something cool that you believe is a part of your identity, or something that that you want to share, right? So your teacher can choose which one of these things they want to pause on, and you can do this on a sheet of paper, or I'm going to share this with this presentation with your teachers, and they can also share it. Okay? All right. I will see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. And think about this. What's one of the most important parts of your identity? All right. Bye. Thanks.